Hello, I'm Jackie, and I'd like to tell you about our company, Hedonistic Hiking. I'm English, and Mick is Australian. We met whilst working in Italy in the 1990s, and we set up Hedonistic Hiking in the year 2007. We now divide our time between Australia and Italy, and we feel very fortunate to call both countries home. Hedonistic hiking combines three of our greatest passions in life: food, wine, and walking. And whichever tour you decide to do, you will find that those three elements are present throughout the tour. We love what we do. We love designing the tours, meeting the guests, and taking them on the hikes that we ourselves have researched. By being on the tour ourselves, it means that we ensure that the quality for which hedonistic hiking is known is found throughout all of our tour itineraries. There are two staff members, the tour leader and the tour manager. The tour manager is the one who looks after your creature comforts. They drive the support vehicle, but they also liaise with restaurants, hotels, and they prepare the picnic lunches. We are Italian specialists, and this is where we base ourselves when we are in Europe. Over the years, however, we have developed tours which take us outside the country. France, Austria, and Slovenia, these tour itineraries start outside Italy, but then hike back into Italy towards the end of the tour. We also offer a tour on the French island of Corsica, and new for 2025, we have a tour in England. For those people in Australia, we are based ourselves in Victoria, and when we are there, we have a small range of tours in Victoria and some hiking weekends as well, which are a great way to get to know us. Tour groups are small, maximum of 16 people. People come from English-speaking countries around the world. Age-wise, the average age is early 60s. We have welcomed guests who are significantly younger and also significantly older. They're not tours for young children, but we feel that once you're in your hiking boots, then age becomes irrelevant. The most important thing is that people are linked and united by the experience of the hike. On the tours, there are couples, groups of friends, and also solo travelers. Solo travelers do feel completely included. It's an excellent style of tour. There's always time to be on your own, but then in the evenings we are always eating together, so it's a very convivial experience. Lunches whilst on the tour are usually picnic lunches. The tour manager will spend the morning visiting local stores, local markets, and then preparing a wonderful, nutritious and healthy lunch, which is showcasing the wonderful ingredients in the area. Food and wine in the Mediterranean is a marriage made in heaven. We do offer a light style of wine at lunchtime, and then in the evenings we match the wines to the menus that we have chosen. We like to introduce our guests to some of the best drops in the area, but also introduce them to the plethora of different grape varieties that there are in Italy. There is always something new to learn, and we often search out organic or even biodynamic producers as well. In the evenings, we're eating in restaurants. These may be a simple trattoria or a more elegant restaurant, perhaps a Michelin-starred restaurant. We design the menus to give you a lovely balanced cuisine, ensuring that you get to taste the best foods of the area. We can accommodate different dietary requirements. We just ask you to let us know this beforehand. The wonderful thing about it being a walking holiday is that all that wonderful food that we are eating in the restaurant means that it is all guilt-free indulgence. We stay in 2 or 3 hotels during the tour. The tours are 8 or 9 days in length. We choose them for their comfort, their charm, the location, and the authenticity. Over the years, we have built up wonderful relationships with the hotels, and one thing that is the same wherever you stay is that the hotels will give you a wonderful welcome. The tour itineraries are all inclusive, whether it is a visit to a castle, a wine tasting, a coffee stop along the trail, or a cooking class. All of this is part of the tour package. Cooking classes are fun. There's several tours that offer these, and we learn to make the local pasta specialities, and then of course we dine on the fruits of our labour. You can browse the various itineraries on the website, which give you detailed information of what happens every day. The tours will all start and finish in a big city, whether it's at an airport or more likely close to a train station or a centrally located hotel. Our website gives you suggestions as to where you might like to stay, pre or post tour, and you will find that we tend to meet you first thing in the morning on day one to enable us to include something on the first day. It is not just a travel day. It may include a short hike, it may include a cultural visit, but as soon as we greet you, you will feel that you are on holiday. Our vehicles are those that you see in the photos, 2 9-seater minibuses, which we ourselves drive. And so this enables us to leave from the hotel in the morning. We might hike out of the hotel, drive back at the end of the day, or we might take a short drive to the start of the walk. It does enable us to access the most interesting and scenic areas in which to hike. So how to choose the holiday that you're going to do with hedonistic hiking? We grade them, 5 being the most challenging and 1 being the most leisurely. And because we design the tours ourselves, we can also help you to choose which tour would be best for you. So level 5, these are in alpine areas with a significant amount of ascent and descent each day. Because we are high up in the mountains, there's often no road access during the hike. So it means that lunchtimes are either picnics, which we have hiked in for you. You are only hiking with a small backpack, or we are eating in a mountain refuge, a mountain restaurant. So the level 5 hikes, I'll just touch on each of these, and you can revert to the website to have more information about each of the tours that we do. France and the Maritime Alps starts in Nice in southern France and then finishes in Turin. And we stay in 3 different hotels. This part of the Alps is known for being a little bit more off the beaten track. We see a wonderful range of fauna. We often see ibex, chamois, golden eagles, marmots whilst we're out hiking. And there are beautiful, pristine rivers and lakes, which make things so spectacular. Towards the last place that we stay in is a beautiful, elegant city, Cuneo. And when we are there, we enjoy a wonderful cooking class. So but on all of our tours, there is a day when there is no hiking, and that will incorporate something different, whether it's a cooking class, cultural visit, to ensure that you give your feet a rest from the boots and have fun doing something different. Austria and the Dolomites, this is another of our level 5 tours. We meet the group in Innsbruck and then we finish in Verona. The end of the tour coincides with the opera festival in Verona, so that's something that you might like to add on to your holiday. 3 different hotels, hiking in beautiful national parks in Austria before heading over to the UNESCO listed landscapes of the Dolomites. So once again, high mountain trails, beautiful wildflowers, because we're there in July when the snows have melted. It's still not too hot because we're quite high up, and beautiful, spectacular, challenging hikes. And then best of the Italian Alps starts and finishes in Turin. Once again, 3 hotels. All these hotels, especially the last one, have spectacular spa facilities, which is wonderful to relax your aching muscles after a big day in the mountains. On this tour, we are in the shadow of Mont Blanc, and on 2 of the days we touch on the famous Tour Mont Blanc, the trail that goes around the mountains, but we also hike in lesser known areas as well. And we're in the little region of Val d'Aosta in northwest Italy. And then if you feel that level 5 is maybe a bit too challenging, but you like to see a few mountains, then have a look at the level 4 tours that we offer. So 1 notch down, if you like, so not not quite so challenging each and every day. There's a few challenging days in there. Some days there's no van access, but we tend to mix a more leisurely day into the more challenging days. Slovenia and Friuli. This tour starts in Slovenia at the capital Ljubljana. Slovenia is a very small country, which is often referred to as a little Switzerland. It's very green, very lush, and beautiful mountains in the Triglav National Park. We stay in 3 different hotels. 2 of those are in Slovenia, and we explore the wonderful, quite recent history of when Slovenia became an independent country. So that Mick and I are both fascinated by history and culture, and so when we're out hiking, we will be telling you a little bit more about the area, so you really get to know the region in which you are hiking. Once again, Slovenia, beautiful rivers, beautiful lakes, and an innovative style of cuisine with some very good wines to enjoy as well. Once back in Italy, we're in the region of Friuli, and then from there we drop you into Venice for the end of the tour. Alto Abruzzo isn't an alpine area. This is the Apennine, so it's the mountain range that forms the spine of Italy. We start and finish in Rome, and Abruzzo is a wild and largely untouched region. When we stay in the little villages, you really feel that you get this genuine welcome from the people, because tourism, there are tourists there, but it's a relatively new style of tourism, and there's plenty of character in the villages and beautiful hiking to enjoy. And this is an area where we also have a cooking class on one of the days. So Corsica is a French island, and this links in immediately after our tour on the Italian island of Sardinia. Corsica is known as the mountain in the sea, and so that gives you an idea that it is a mountainous island, the most mountainous of all the Mediterranean islands, and wonderful granite mountains with spectacular views and views out to the sea as well. 3 different hotels, beautiful hotels. The final one is looking over a beautiful gorge. Southern Italy is right down in the instep of the heel in the little known area of Basilicata. 3 hotels starting on the coast in Maratea, then into the national park, Pollino National Park, in a beautiful little mountain village, and then finally in the UNESCO city of Matera, where once upon a time people were so poor they were living in caves, then they were evicted, and many of these caves have now become beautiful and interesting hotels where to stay. We head down here in autumn, so it's a time when the foliage is changing in nice cooler temperatures, but beautiful crisp views as well. The Italian lakes really need no introduction, and we start and finish this tour in Milan. Start with a guided tour of some of the lesser known parts of the city of Milan. We then visit 3 lakes, Como, Maggiore, and then finish at lesser known Lake Orta. 2 of the hotels are right on the lakes, which allows you to have a dip in the water in the mornings if you like, and the hotel in Como overlooks the lake. So lovely walking. It's an area that's quite well known with visitors, but once you're out hiking, you really get away from people, partly in Lombardy, partly in Piedmont. Northern Lombardy is a tour that we're offering for the first time in 2025, and this starts and finishes in a lovely city of Bergamo, which is just to the east of Milan. It explores, amongst the wonderful scenery, it also explores 2 fascinating wine regions, the region of Franciacorta, where Italy's first traditional method sparkling wine was produced, and then to the north in the area of the Valtellina, an area that's known for beautiful red wines, and especially the Nebbiolo wine. 3 different hotels, one in the wine area, one on Lake Iseo, another small, lesser known lake, and then one very close to the border of Switzerland in the town of Tirano. And in fact, on one of our tours, we take the beautiful Bernina Express train for a few stops into Switzerland before hiking back to Tirano. And then for something quite different, 2025, we're offering our first tour in England. So we've chosen this part of England because it's an area close to our hearts. It's where I myself studied at university, and it's where Mick and I have recently bought a little cottage. So July can be, unless you're in the mountains, quite hot in central Italy. And so it's a wonderful area in which to offer a tour because in England it's never too hot. So it's beautiful, it's green, it's lush, 2 different national parks, wonderful waterfalls, rolling hills. And although it's not Italian cuisine, there is excellent food to enjoy in those regions and wonderful history as well. Of course, the wines, they won't always be English wines, but you will be very well looked after on that front as well. 2 different hotels on this, one on a farm, and then another one is an old manor house just on the edge of a town in the Yorkshire Dales. So level 3 has a little bit of everything. And for people who are unsure which tour to do first, a level 3 hike, and we have many to choose from, is a good start because for those people who like a bit of challenge, there are some days that offer that. But then for those people who are a little bit concerned as to how much walking they want to do, there are a lot of options. So you will meet the vehicle, the support vehicle, every lunchtime. So you could do a half day. And on the longer days, you will find that we often offer a morning pickup or an afternoon pickup. So it allows you to have a choice to know that there is a fallback if you don't feel like walking the whole way. But they are rolling hills. There's nothing that we do that's ever flat. So there still needs to be some preparation, and it ensures that there's a little bit of something for everybody. So the level 3 hikes are often in May when the season starts up because it's too cold and too snowy to be further into the mountains. And we start up in this tour, Etruscan Trails in central Italy. So start and finish in Rome, at Rome Fiumicino Airport. And then we head north first to Lazio, where we stay by a beautiful volcanic lake. Then we go to the wonderful Umbrian city of Orvieto, which is perched on an outcrop of rock. And then we finish in the well-known wine area around Montepulciano in Tuscany. So in the springtime in central Italy, it's beautiful, green, lush, wildflowers as well. And that part of the country has wonderful history, especially Etruscan history. And we do include a visit to an Etruscan site on this tour. Often with the cultural visits that we do, although Mick and I have a great passion for the history, we will often use local guides as well because they give you that extra additional sort of passion and information which bring the tour to life. Lucca Volterra, the island of Elba, another tour that has 3 different hotels. It starts and finishes in Pisa. Lovely Etruscan medieval history when we're staying in Lucca and Volterra. And we also visit the well-known town of San Gimignano, arriving there on foot. And then towards the end of the week, we take a ferry across to Elba, which of course is where Napoleon spent a few months of his life. And we do beautiful hiking through wonderful wildflowers with beautiful views over the coast. On this tour, the non-hiking day is when we are on Elba, so there's time to relax at the gorgeous hotel on the bay and also visit the town of Portofraio. Medieval Umbria starts in the Tuscan town of Arezzo with a tour with a local guide of some of the wonderful Renaissance frescoes by Piero della Francesca. Then we head to a lovely town called Anghiari, hike in that area before we head into more in the countryside where we stay at a converted abbey, and then finally into Gubbio where we experience a fabulous medieval festival. And then in the autumn, we head to one of the islands of Italy, Sardinia. And Sardinia is known, especially by the Italians, as a place where you would go to the beach because it has wonderful azure waters, amazing beaches and places to enjoy there. But we first go inland and we explore the Bronze Age culture, which is unique to Sardinia. And we hike, seeing no other hikers but just a few shepherds, because Sardinia has a wonderful tradition of used milk cheese, sheep's milk cheese, and so we often see sheep grazing and being looked after by shepherds. So it's wonderful, rugged hiking. And then, of course, we do dip to the coast on the second hotel. We're closer to the coast, and we do have a beautiful boat trip to enjoy those coastal views as well. This tour is a tour that we have done ever since we started our company in the year 2007. So for us, it's almost like going home. We really enjoy taking people to this region. We start in Parma and we finish in Pisa. And outside of Parma, we're in a lovely area where they're known for making the Parmesan cheese. And we go and see how the cheese is made. And then also we are there for the Porcini Mushroom Festival. So it has a really interesting food focus, because in the autumn is when the food festivals take place in Italy. So 3 different hotels we do. In the middle hotel, we do a long hike on the Via Francigena, the most important pilgrim route to pass through Italy. And then we finish on the coast, on the Bay of Poets, overlooking the Cinque Terre, with a lovely free leisurely day at the end when there's the opportunity to take a boat ride up past the Cinque Terre villages. Northern Tuscany in Ravenna starts and finishes in Bologna, which in itself is a fascinating city. We stay in 3 different hotels. Firstly, it's an olive oil estate. Then we're in a little village which coincides with the Chestnut Festival there. And then we finish in Ravenna, where we visit with a local guide some of the fabulous UNESCO sites there with the beautiful mosaics. Once again, we're in the Apennines, so these mountains which form the spine of Italy. And although there are longer hikes, they are also interspersed with easier hikes, and of course the opportunity to meet the van every day at lunchtime. And level 2 are much more leisurely. On the 2 level 2 tours that we offer, we stay in just 2 different hotels, and there's plenty of options. So if you don't fancy walking every day or all day every day. The first of these is a Tuscan harvest, so very much around the area where we live when we're here in Italy. And it is in the region known as the Chianti region, so hiking through vineyards, through some woodlands as well. There wine tasting, there's a cooking class. We spend a day in Siena exploring some of the sites there, and then the second half of the week we're in a beautiful little medieval town. And the final evening on this tour, we take the guests to a 2 Michelin star restaurant for the final dinner, which is quite a spectacular end. And then the second of the level 2 hikes is up in northwest Italy. It starts and finishes in Turin, and it's the Jewels of Piedmont, another very well-known wine region where Barolo, Barbaresco comes from. On this tour as well, just like on the Tuscan tour, we have a cooking class to learn some of the local specialities. And here we're there at the time of the wine harvest. So we have a wine tasting, and also it's the area known for the white truffle of Alba, and we go truffle hunting with Marco and his truffle dog. And then we use those truffles in our cooking class later that day. And level 1, this particular tour is less about the hiking, and it all takes place in Siena. So we stay in Siena for the week of the horse race, which is now world famous, I believe. But we follow it right from the moment where the horses are allocated. So during the week, you get the build up, you get the excitement, and also a greater understanding of what the festival is all about. It's very exciting. There is so much to learn about it, and we have grandstand seats for the race itself. So we include all sorts of different things, like a visit to one of the unique museums that they have in Siena for the Contrada. We have an alfresco dinner in one of the Contrada with all the flag throwers and everyone, all the flags and the drums and everything taking place the night before the race itself. And then of course the race. There is a cooking class on one day, and there is the opportunity to get out of the city and to walk in the countryside. However, it is in August, so we have half-day walks. We try to keep to the woods as much as possible, but it enables people to stretch their legs and have a bit of a walk, which is also important. So those are all the tours. As I've already mentioned, on the website there's lots of more information about the day-by-day itineraries. Here you can see the prices. Remember, that's an all-inclusive price except for your flight. So once you're on the tour with us, we look after you from start to finish, whether it's taking you to a museum, whether it's stopping off for a little coffee en route or a nice cold drink at the end of the hike. It's all part of the tour. At the moment on our website, currently here now in 2024, you'll be seeing the 2025 dates. We release in January 2025 the tour dates for 2026, but it's never too early to put down an expression of interest for the tour. If you haven't already, please do sign up to our newsletter and follow us on social media, because then you'll be able to see updates and not miss out on anything. And so I hope with this presentation I've piqued your interest for one of our tours. Remember that if you have any questions, all you need to do is drop us an email. Being a small company, we manage the email. So if you do drop me an email, I'll be the one answering you, and you can ask a question about any of the tours, because they're our tours, we've designed them, and so we know them every step of the way. And so thank you for listening, and I look forward to hearing from you, and we hope that we will welcome you to Hedonistic Hiking soon.